So hello everyone, welcome. I'm Rebecca Cafiero. This is already a step up from last week's call where I realized that I couldn't get my computer audio to work and my cell phone had 1% when I logged in from my phone. So the fact that we're sitting here in front of the computers is a great start. But tonight we're gonna make this call super short and impactful, and we just want to share Isagenix. So whether you're watching this live or you're tuning in or you're listening or you're watching the replay later, we just hope that you're open-minded and you really think about what is important to you. And I would just invite everyone for a minute to really ask yourself, like, what makes a wonderful life? What makes a balanced life? What makes a life that is full of meaning? And there's probably lots of different answers we all have, but I would assume that all of us have something like being happy and being healthy, because without health, it doesn't matter how much income we have. But on the other side of that is also having the income to be able to do the things that we want to do and spend the time with the people that we want to spend. So health, happiness, being financially secure and having time to do all those things is really important. So tonight we're going to spend a little bit of time just kind of going over what exactly this call is about, which is Isagenix, and what that means, and why those of us on the call that are chatting, why it's become something that is not only part of our lives, but it's also something that's really important that we share. Because when you receive this gift, if you don't pass it on, it just isn't the same. And I didn't get that when I started. So just to give a little background before I introduce Mackenzie, 5 years ago, I was a burnout corporate executive. I had a life that looked really good on paper, but on the inside, I was really drowning. I went to the hospital at 31 thinking I was having a heart attack. And even though I was making great money, I did not have time, I did not have freedom, and I did not have fulfillment, and my health was suffering because of the other things. So I was introduced to Isagenix 4.5 years ago, thought I would use the products, fell in love with them, and after about 6 months, I wish it would have been sooner, I realized that there was an opportunity here to not just help myself feel good and not just a doorway out of the situation I was in that I didn't love, which was a job that didn't fulfill me, but also there was an ability to impact others. And I think we all of us on this earth, first, we want to take care of ourselves, but then when we learn how to take care of ourselves, that's something we want to share. So I want to invite out Mackenzie Arbel, who is not only a dear friend of mine, but also is one of my business partners, to share a little bit about her story. And this girl is insanely passionate. If you didn't have the chance to watch Celebration, you need to just go to her Facebook, scroll down, Mackenzie Arbel, and find her celebration story. She, a few weeks ago, got to be one of the final speakers at an event in front of 15,000 entrepreneurs to share, and she absolutely killed it. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I will. She was really off script because she was speaking from the heart. And that's what's so powerful here is I'd share my screen, but we have no script here. We're just sharing from our hearts. We're sharing something that's incredibly important to us, and we hope that it resonates with you. So Kins, come on out.
Like, I love hearing when you share your brief 30-second story because it's so powerful. And I'm so grateful that you decided to share something that had impacted your lives with others because you changed mine. You guys, I was 23 when I was introduced to Isagenix. I'm now 26, so I'm 3 years in. Almost September will be I think 3 years for me. I was really struggling. I was born and raised in Michigan, moved to San Diego. My now husband, we were dating, is a pilot in the Navy. So got thrown into military life. Probably, I think it was 3 days after I left my senior year of college, packed up my car and moved to Southern California. Just didn't have any family, didn't have any support out there, didn't know anyone. And I went to school for 4 years, but decided to switch my major and got a few more years added on to that degree and ran out of financial aid. And so I was unable to complete my degree. So I walked away from college very passionate about what I was studying, which was event management and PR, with 4 years of college debt and no paper, no college degree. So left me very few options for jobs and just went through really, really hard time trying to figure out what was an appropriate path, because when you don't have the choice of, what I could pursue or what I could apply for because I didn't have money, it just dictated and suffocated my whole life. So I was working 3 jobs and decided that working 3 jobs still wasn't giving me the income I needed. So I opened up a small beauty business in downtown San Diego. I've been doing spray tanning for years. opened up a spray tanning studio, and it was just a way that I could work as many hours as I needed to generate extra income in the pockets of my time. And I know I don't like the word side hustle, but a lot of people have little side businesses, or, I like to call, Rebecca calls them passion projects that can generate income. And it's so funny when we say that, like, so many people are doing things that they love and they're passionate about on the side. Like, it's their little side project, even though that's what fills their cup, or that's what means most to them. And so I love being an entrepreneur, and I loved working with women, and I love making people feel good. So long story short, Rebecca came into town for an Isagenix conference and found me on Yelp because I was organic and she was pregnant, and Rebecca uses everything organic in her life. So she came in for a spray tanning appointment and ended up sharing that she's in town for Isagenix, and just cast a really small vision in that appointment. Really didn't make it about Isagenix. I don't even think she said Isagenix in there. But we connected on social media, and I scrolled through her Facebook that day. I had a really bad day at work, and those days you come home and you feel really defeated. And I remember sitting on my couch. I was eating chips and salsa for dinner. That was my normal. It was like popcorn or chips and salsa, whatever I could reach for, right? I was not taking care of myself, body, mind, and spirit. I was like work from 5 a.m. to when I got home, crashed, went to bed, did it all over again. And I was sitting on my couch after meeting this beautiful person, and she was glowing when she talked about work and the people she worked with. And I remember thinking, like, I just don't want to get up. I don't want to say I can't, but I don't want to get up and just redo the day I had. Like, I don't know how much more I could do this just to try to get ahead, although my student loan payment interest was like 8%. So I felt like there was no getting ahead. So anyways, I scrolled through social media and I just saw impact and health and wellness and balance and relationships. And I was like, I want to do what she does. So I reached out to her, and she introduced me to Isagenix. And really, truly, honestly, I was one of the few people that I saw the products and I was like, I've seen the shake thing before. But I was more interested in the business. And that's what's so cool about our different stories was Rebecca was very, very health conscious and did a lot of research and jumped in because she had a need for the product. I had a huge need. I had no energy. I was very stressed out. But when I looked at the business of referring, which we're going to cover, I thought, oh my gosh, my whole beauty business, you guys, think about the girl or the man that does your hair, or the person that does your nails, or maybe your spray tan, or when you have a really great restaurant, anyone maybe in your life that maybe owns a small business, you love to support people and refer a great experience. And so when I saw that Isagenix was just referral based, meaning you got an account, you used the products, you had a goal, we matched you up with what you need, and then if you loved it, you shared it. I was like, what? I was used to seeing these businesses where people had to buy in a couple $1,000s and they had sales quotas they had to hit and they had to recruit X amount of people every month. Like, that was my thought of all referral marketing companies or network marketing companies. And when I saw what Isagenix had to offer both on the product side, the community, and then the business, I was like all in. So Rebecca, do you want to kind of cover what Isagenix is and their product line and what they focus on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with product because I think it all starts with product. And Mackenzie is, like I said, she had a much more open mind than I did. I was coming out of working for Fortune 500 companies. I was at my last job, I was a VP of sales and marketing for a publicly traded company. And I had a little bit of an ego about that job because I'd worked, like I said, really hard to get the title, even though it wasn't fulfilling me. But sometimes it's really hard to admit to yourself that the thing that you thought was important doesn't fulfill you. So as she said, I am a nutrition nerd. I'm certified in holistic health and integrative nutrition, and you don't need to be to share this at all. In fact, if anything, I make it way too complicated. So I really, looked into the products. I love the fact that they had third-party peer reviews. I love the fact that their standards are higher than USDA organic. I mean, the more I dug in, the more it was like ding, 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 like all of the things. But that was just fine for me trying it. And of course, as I tried it and I was 5 days in, I was like, this is insane. I've done everything out there from alkaline water to infrared saunas to colonics to crazy things that are not sustainable in the name of health. And this is so easy and I felt so good. So I definitely believed in the products first and foremost. But when it was time to look at this as an opportunity, there were a few things that I looked at before leaving a job that, frankly, I was on a fast track. And to leave a $200,000 plus a year job to go to something that was totally outside of what I'd ever done before, I really wanted to make sure that it was rock solid before I made that move. So I researched the company. And the company at the time, now they're about 16 years old, but the fact it was privately held. I'd worked for 2 companies that have been public. It is so much better to work for private. That the fact that they were debt-free was huge. The fact that they were a family business by people that were already incredibly wealthy that came back to do something to impact people, not to make more money. And then And then also the fact that they have incredible amount of money they invested in science, which was important to me. And just the more that I dug in, the more impressed I was. The fact that they were winning awards, not in network marketing companies, but up against companies like Sony and Apple and Dell, they were winning awards for best management, for best female leaders. I mean, it was an incredibly vetted company. And I had the fortune to meet the owners. And, when you meet someone face to face and you look in their eyes and you see how authentic that they are, but also how much like my little story of releasing 18 pounds and feeling great, how much they actually cared. And that is really unique. And then secondly was looking at the industry. I didn't understand network marketing. I come from a family where both my parents own their own businesses. And I always said I didn't want my own business because I saw how it ran them. I saw how they had to have supplies. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. My dad's a fisherman with fishing boats and permits. My stepdad's a water well driller. So I grew up very blue collar and I didn't know that I wanted that. And when I saw this model, I was like, wait a second, you can get all the tools provided, all of the training, all of the support, shipping's taken care of. You're not dealing with like any of the stuff you normally would if you started your own business. All you have to do is figure out the way to do the best version of you being you on a proven track. Like, this is so simple. It's like insanely simple. It doesn't matter your education. It doesn't matter your age, your experience. I mean, look at Mackenzie. She's 3 years in. She's a top 200 income earner in the world. She's earning multiple 5 figures a month and she works her buns off and she's very good at this, but she would not have had this opportunity anywhere else outside of this. And neither would I. It took me 10 plus years in corporate America to get there, killing myself. And I had no residual. So, I really got to understand the industry and also just the way our economy is moving. It's all about online. The brick and mortars are closing. And if you even want to open a brick and mortar, a 7-Eleven, you're going to invest $500,000 down and take out a $500,000 loan to make a 7% return a year that you have to work your buns off. So I just looked at all these things, the fact that Airbnb is the largest hotel out there, yet they own no property. That Uber is the largest fleet out there, and yet they own no cars. That Amazon has surpassed Walmart in terms of retail sales. So you look at all these indicators, and you're like, the economy is moving a different direction. And we can either be waiting and behind, or we can be on the curve. And that's what Isagenix is. And then lastly is the income and the opportunity within Isagenix. It's a consumable product. It's food, which everyone needs. The meals break down to $3 a day. I was drinking I got a celery juice today. It was celery and lemon, organic celery and lemon. It was on sale for $4 from $6. I'm drinking it and I go, my shake costs less than this. And it's a full meal. And this is just like a fun little treat, not a meal. But that's the power, is that it is just a consumable product. And if a recession happens again, like I saw when I lost 4 investment properties in real estate, if that happens again, guess what? People stop paying their mortgage, they stop paying their car payments, but people have got to eat. And if anything, history has shown that in times of a downturn, which we are in a phenomenal time right now, but it doesn't continue always. But in a time of a downturn, network marketing actually increases because of the fact that people are looking for a little bit of breathing room each month. And then the last thing I'd say is, I was about six months into building this business really intentionally, really hard, in my spare time, in the pockets I had, while still at my full-time job. And when I really understood the power of residual income was when I went on my honeymoon for 3 weeks, and I took time off from my work that it took me 4 years to accumulate the 15 days I took off. And I earned more residually in my Isagenix business and with bonuses than I did at my corporate job. Think about that. Where else can you go and say, I'm going to give it my best effort and I want to earn double next month what I earn this month. I want to earn triple. And you actually have control over that. Because I could go to my boss, and actually my boss was one of my best friends. She would have been like, I'd love to pay you that, but my hands are tied. And that's what I often had to do. I had 40 employees. And you know what? Guess who was the one that had to go and have the conversations when we cut commissions? And then we upped their requirements for what they had to do to keep their job. I was the one that had to deliver that message. And that's what I love about this, is we are truly in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. And the compensation just gets better and better every single year. I mean, I could go on and on about this forever, but I'm going to bring Mackenzie back to really talk about, like, what does this look like? Maybe you're someone that's like, hey, I just would like to eat for free, because you're going to pay to eat all the time unless you're growing your own food, but then you're paying with your time and you still pay for seeds and water and all that stuff. But I can either pay to eat, I can eat for free, or I can get paid to eat. And that's what we teach people to do, is to get paid doing something they're going to do day in and day out. So Ken's, back to you.
So amazing. Thank you for sharing. It's so powerful. So, we're going to send you other resources if you're watching this as a recording. Get together with the person that sent you on this call, really about the nitty gritty of the system of Isagenix, the amazing product line we offer. But the bigger picture, you guys, is it's the greatest health and wellness company. It's set up, I would say, like Amazon Prime, meaning that we set customers up with a wholesale account for $29 for the entire year. You shop at wholesale pricing for the whole year, no strings attached, no order minimums, nothing. I pay the same amount for products, even though I share full time than a customer does. So we all pay the same amount. How amazing is that, right? And then if you're loving your experience with Isagenix, which everyone does, you have the ability to share. Maybe it's a coworker that asks you, what's that really good smelling strawberry thing you're drinking? Or a friend says, why are you so peppy in the morning? Which is what my coworker started saying to me. I also, so funny, I actually literally also released 18 pounds with Isagenix and a lot of other health benefits outside of that, just outside of my weight. But so you have this ability to refer, and there's no buy-in, there's no cost, there's no back office fee like a lot of other companies, and you share what you're eating. And you're like, okay, that can't be it. But it's really it. And we have systems and tools and great community in place, and we can go over that with you. So you share what you love. And now we have a new app where you can, let's say you chatted with a coworker today and you said, I'm loving Isagenix. This is my goals. I'm really struggling with just having healthy options at work. Like today I talked to a nurse and she was saying that, typically at the hospital, she pays between $12 to $15 for a meal at the cafeteria, which is all processed or fried foods. And she feels really sluggish at work. And she was saying that she literally usually has candy in her pocket because she works on, what's it called, you guys? I'm not a nurse, but where the babies are born. So she said it's a lot of celebrations, but it's a lot of like long nights and whatnot. So all to say, she was like, Mackenzie, that's been like my go-to is like sugar. And so we were just able to really literally swap out what she's using. And then today at work, she called me and she said, someone wants to know about my shakes. And so we have a new app where we can literally, I had a conversation today and I'm able to customize a cart for them based on what we chatted. They want to lose a little bit of weight. They really struggling with stress levels at work and just want some great convenience. So I put together a cart for them and I text it to them. And then they fill out their shipping information. They, if they want to swap out the flavors of the shakes, so the adaptogens, whatever it is, they customize it for themselves and they place the order. That's the business we're in. Can you imagine that? Like, that is so crazy. And then in very simple terms, every time people shop, we get a kickback. Now it's a little more advanced than that. We're not going to go into the compensation plan, but how fun is that to be able to refer the food you're eating and share that with others with no strings attached? And like Rebecca said, when I started, my biggest need was to help cover that student loan payment. And so I needed to make $400 a month. And then I really got going with my business. And I said, why would I limit myself to that? If I'm able to make $400 a month, why can't I make $400 a week? And then I kept stretching that and stretching that and stretching that and building and working. And it's so fun, right? Work is so fun. So it doesn't have to be, I want to leave my job or I'm miserable. I think some of the most amazing people I work with love what they do. They just need more choice in their life. And that's what we give people, more choice to be able to, let's say that I talked to a friend today actually, and her corporate job allows her 5 days off in the entire year. So she better take the best vacation if she wants to take a vacation. So that choice might be taking like a more extreme vacation, more luxury vacation. Maybe it's being able to help a family member or a friend in need. Maybe it's being able to give more. Maybe the choice is having more energy to spend more time with your family when you come home after a long day of work, right? Choices are so important. And people are so limited in sometimes the choices they can make based on their health and their wealth. So that's what we're providing with people. And it can be whatever you need, whatever you want. The sky's the limit. Like I was the person that came in, for the business, but really I was like, I need to make $400 a month. Rebecca was the person that came in for the products and then said, I'm not in a really healthy place with my job right now. I love to work, but this is not a right fit. And she had a bigger vision. So, it's something that Rebecca and I talk about too, is having impact versus being an influence, right? I'm 26 and I love posting on social media and I love social media, but it's a huge conversation I have with people that I work with is, we could be an influencer. We can share our outfits. We can share what we're buying on Amazon, which I also love to do. or we can be an impactor. We can have something that we can really help impact lives and change lives. And in a day and age where we put so much praise and so much focus on social media and stuff that's really not real half the time, can you imagine being able to share your story and share your journey to people around you and have impact and influence? That's so incredible. So lots to think about, but yeah, it's really, you've heard two stories tonight, but there's so many stories that we love to connect you with. And if something resonated with you and you're like, wow, I'm a nurse too, or maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, maybe you're a student, whatever it is, we have someone in our group that we've worked with that are working with us that we would love to connect you with. We can have more stories for you. We have a bigger vision to cast for you, but we want to keep this short and sweet. But just say, if you're open to learning more, if you're open to having more choice, if you're ready to generate some extra income, create more impact in your life, but for others, we have a really, really perfect solution for you. We'd love to chat further with you. Or if someone put you on this phone call, they'd love to chat more with you. They always say, if you're with the right company, there's not the right time to join, right? But we can say right now, like Isagenix just announced and released an essential oil line. Where Isagenix is going in the space of wellness is so huge. And something that Rebecca was talking about, opening a franchise. I have two friends that open franchises. Is the issue you run into is not maybe what they were able to do that didn't allow it to be successful, but it was the relevance of the brand. We think of 7-Elevens, right? Like, it's just so crazy to think of brands that were around. I'm trying to think now, I'm 26, that were around, even just a couple of years ago. It's not relevant anymore. And to be able to be partnered with a company that's so strong, so secure, but so relevant in a space of health and wellness, people are becoming so much more conscious and aware of those things. And I think, Rebecca, you can speak to this, but there's never been a bigger time, I don't think, where people have been so conscious about the food, their mental health, their well-being, what they're putting in their mouth, community, maybe what even they're putting their eyes on social media. Like, we're in a really conscious time where people are aware of those things. So to be in a business where you can provide solutions for people directly and have that ripple effect and create income based on your impact is so amazing. Rebecca, anything you want to add?
Just a couple of things. I mean, Mackenzie hit everything on the head, but the last thing is accessibility. When you find something in your life that you love, you don't always have the ability to share it with someone else because of accessibility. And that's why Isagenix chose the model of network marketing. Is if they had put this in a Whole Foods, think about how many people don't have access to a Whole Foods or a GNC, but also they wanted it to be a transformational experience. And that's why, as she said, reach out and ask questions, whether this is the time for you or it's not. I mean, from a business standpoint, it definitely is a time. And from an environmental standpoint of what we're putting into our bodies, I think, again, the consciousness has been significantly raised in the last few years. But lastly is, if this isn't for you, if you're not interested in feeling healthier, if you're not interested in more time or more community or more support or more income, if that is just not your cup of tea, that's totally fine. Even if it's not, or maybe the timing's not right, if there's someone in your life that it's for, there are so many people out there that are praying for solutions to one of those areas, please share with them. And we are so open book. We are so proud of what we are involved with. We're so proud of who we're aligned with. I mean, I don't take anything personally when people ask me the questions. I'm like, go ahead. I was the skeptic. I'm the optimistic skeptic. So I'm like, I can't wait to see success. And when I saw it, that's when I knew I had to share it. So whoever is on this call that this resonates, or you're watching later, or if you have someone in your life you love, maybe you have so much money, you don't need more money going into your bank account each week. I would not say no to mine every Monday getting paid. But if there's someone in your life that you would love to give more to, this could be a way to give to them by giving them an opportunity that literally opens the door to whatever they want to create on the other side. But we want to respect everyone's time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we will be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time live. And then, of course, if you are interested in seeing more about the opportunity side, we have calls almost every day so that you can plug into something that fills your heart and fills your mind and also gives you the support that you deserve so that you can have the life that you deserve. Have a great night.